Hello and welcome to Dingoes 8 Hour Podcast. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.
This week we're talking about the episode Killed by Death. This episode originally aired March 3rd, 1998, attracting 6.1 million viewers. Buffy is sick with a flu but tries to patrol anyway, meeting, fighting, and losing Tangelis before the gang steps in with crosses. The stress of this causes Buffy to faint and she is taken to the hospital where her flu is diagnosed as serious enough to keep her in the hospital for a couple of days. While delirious with the fever, she sees an ugly demon creeping through the hospital after a small boy, who dies the next day. Angelus tries to visit Buffy, but Xander faces him down in a tense confrontation. The flu is very strong, and although Buffy is recovering, these children are dying. Giles is skeptical of Buffy's account of the demon and believes it to be the work of the sinister Dr. Backer. He is killed the next day, so Buffy injects herself with the flu virus so she can see the demon. And as Buffy puts it, uses violence to kill it. So, what did you think of this episode?
On whole with this, it was kind of mediocre to kind of start with things. I suppose on the one hand, Buffy, despite being the Slayer, is still somewhat human, and yes, cold can kind of take her out. But going through the whole hospital scene and whatnot, it was kind of a little bit like, okay, I'm guessing they just kind of needed a story for the week and couldn't think of a decent idea. Until things started to go along, they found that there was an actual issue with there. And it was nice to go with the falsehood that it was a person doing it and not so much a monster. Giving us sort of the idea that it was more hallucination with everything that was kind of going on at first. Because when the first little bit of it comes up, I kind of knew Buffy was hallucinating. If you don't have the particular equipment with you, the doctors would immediately know that you're out of your bed and would most likely put you back there.
Yeah, so I quite like this episode. I just don't like where it's placed in the season.
I can somewhat understand that with the subject matter. I question where you would supposedly want it more. Somewhere a couple episodes before, or more so toward the beginning of the season.
I would have put it much earlier. So all of the Angela stuff in this episode doesn't need to be there.
And I suppose it adds to it and kind of keeps the point of things, but
the fact that she loses to Angelus, that could be any vampire because Buffy's sick, so you have a built-in reason for her to lose a fight. And when Angelus comes to visit her, you could write something else. I would have had this earlier on. I think it works better if it's more of a standalone thing without trying to tie the Angelus storyline into it.
I suppose.
But I still really like the idea of this episode.
Angelus wasn't really a big part of the episode. He was just there, kind of.
He's in like 2 scenes.
Conveniently there.
He's in 2 scenes because his contract says he has to be in 2 scenes, goddammit.
Hi guys, Angelus is still here and I'm supposedly a threat. Okay, bye!
We find out eventually that the demon is something called a Der Kinderstadt.
Yes.
That's
Which,
a mouthful.
Not really.
Der Kinderschnaff?
Der Kinderstadt.
I could not pronounce that.
Okay. So basically it means something like the death of children or something.
Yeah, something like that from the episode.
it's got great makeup. Like it's a great look.
Yeah.
And like the things coming out of its eyes and stuff is super creepy.
Oh,
yeah, that was the thing that kind of pushed this episode from mediocre to what particular person decided to bring this thing? Is this actually a thing that this creature does, or was this just something like we needed this monster to do something incredibly freaky to attack these kids with? Have the eyes pop out. Perfect!
With like weird grabby things on his eyes.
Yeah, forget the thing having its giant teeth things, eating things with its mouth. Its eyes are its mouth. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so Der Kinderstadt isn't a real, like, German folklore demon.
Congratulations.
It was just something that was made up for the show, and it kind of looks a little Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I blame
it has
the
a
nose.
different gimmick, but, you know.
I blame the nose.
Not
Also the hat.
that different.
I don't know, Freddy Krueger doesn't have eyes that suck the life out
No,
of
but he's
him.
got the glove. And this demon does do the slashing and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's true. I think it would mostly be the fedora, but yeah, whichever writer decided to come up with the idea that the eyeballs pop out to suck out the light of the people, gold star for creativity, but also gold star for giving me nightmares for a couple of weeks.
I don't know, I didn't find that to be terribly creepy for that, but that's fine.
Yeah, so of course Buffy ends up killing the creature by snapping its neck, sort of like how Angel killed Jenny last episode.
They seem to be a bit on the neck-breaking kick. I wonder how much longer that's gonna last.
Yeah. I also love... Okay, so Buffy decides that she has to, like, drink this virus goo so that she can see the demon.
A sample of the virus.
Concentrate!
Yeah.
Oh, no, not...
I love that moment. Willow's like, if you drink that, it will kill you.
It's the complete virus. Your body will not be able to handle it.
Oh.
We have to dilute it. That's quite funny. But the fact that, like, she's taking the same virus that she had, it wouldn't actually work.
True.
Because your body's already built up an immunity to it.
True, it probably would not be too effective on it. Depending on how much was actually put on there, I think it would make sense within the episode of how long it sort of lasted for her, since it was a case of she took it, started to feel decently sick at the start of it, depending on the percentage she had, but as soon as everything was kind of done, she started to feel better, though it could be questioned that it was the fact that the monster was all defeated and the additional thing that was brought up within the episode, but also that the virus could have been taken care of within their body. And that was a nice little point to bring up within the episode, just to add that extra little layer of kind of giving some story of why Buffy is not a big fan of hospitals, and the story of her cousin.
Okay, I really dislike this. This is one of the things in the episode and in this series that I just, like, this is pointless.
Mostly because you think it's kind of fillery and doesn't make too much sense. It's just sort of like, oh, Buffy's suffering, you need to care about her because she's going through all this emotional stuff.
So, I understand the reason that it's there.
Oh, yeah.
So the reason it's there is to show Buffy before she became a hero and after she became a hero.
No.
That's the whole point. Is Buffy, when she's 8 and she sees her cousin die, she isn't a hero, and now she can defeat the monster because she's a hero.
What?
Right? That's the whole point of it. I just dislike the way it's done. I think, like, the whole idea of, like, oh, we have to bring in, like, this cousin that we haven't heard of prior to this, and she died at, like, 8. I don't like it.
Kind of forced in a way.
Yeah, and it's not going to be important later on.
Oh, okay. Unless it is. In which case that will most likely either be very decent forward writing or, like, oh man, we did this one little supposed thing to fit within the story. Does anyone have any ideas? How about the one cousin that died in the hospital when Buffy was 8? Perfect!
I don't think they'll bring it back up again.
Yeah, most likely. Just like the eggs.
So, Cordelia breaks down the metaphor of this episode in, maybe 2 sentences. And I love it. Here's Cordelia's line. So this isn't about you being afraid of hospitals because your friend died and you want to conjure up a monster that you can fight so that you can save everybody and not feel so helpless.
Oh yeah, now I remember that line.
That is literally the entire metaphor of this episode.
It's like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I love that. Cordelia's the worst, but she's great.
It's her role.
So overall, what did you guys think of this episode?
I think for the episode it is and not having to deal with a whole bunch of story stuff, it works. And again, at the start of it, and mostly it's kind of the blame with the one security guard scene with Cordelia and her having to go through that and just adding stuff to the fire of their relationship and all that sort of stuff kind of docked a point or two from the start. But on the whole, with everything sort of added in and an episode, and as the episode itself in total, it's good. It's not amazingly great, but it's better than kind of a filler sort of to take a place episode. Nah, I'd say 6.
Yeah, it's one of the better filler episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably agree with David on it. About a 6. I like the monster. was, I don't know, a little pushed in a few areas, but it was interesting enough to sit through anyway.
In my case, it was kind of like, okay, creepy fedora-wearing monster thing. It wasn't until the eye thing happened where I was like, okay, I'll be seeing you for my nightmares for the next couple of days.
Alright, so we're going to move on to international titles as there's no music in this episode other than original score.
Yeah.
So in Finnish, it's Death on a Round.
Okay.
In French, it's Recollection. And my personal favorite, in German, The Invisible Death.
That probably works best.
Yeah, I think so.
But death is always invisible. This monster has mild visibility to the thing it's killing. Or things that are close, are sick in that sort of sense.
Yeah, okay. So, next episode we'll be talking about I Only Have Eyes for You.
Please tell me it's not another episode with a monster that does a crazy thing with its
No, I
eyes.
don't think that's going to be the case.
No. Let me read you just a brief little blurb.
I think it may have to
episode.
do with Angel.
Maybe just a little.
Oh,
Sunnydale is haunted by the ghosts of a former student and teacher who reenact their romance through the bodies of current students.
Oh.
This is also the episode that convinced Joss Whedon that David Boreanaz, who plays Angel, was a good enough actor to head his own show. So this is basically what got him the spin-off Angel.
huh.
Neat.
Okie doos.
And it is very good.
You say, but your taste in things are a little bit different than ours, so we're going to have to see.
Well, no, I mean, if you put it in perspective, if it made Angel get its own series or spin-off series, then there might be some merit to the episode itself then.
True, but there might be some moments of cringe, so I might need to be prepared.
Well, I mean, like the ending of this episode where they're all sitting eating whatever
Oh, yes.
and kind of getting Buffy's mom to get everything for them.
Your mom's trying to hide the chips. What's with that? It's so good.
I'm mildly surprised she was so tolerant. After a certain point of Xander saying that, oh no, the cheeses are hidden behind the raisins. I know. I just would have gave her the look and just sort of turned and left.
Silly moments like that.
We also, we didn't actually touch on this, but we should. Angelus and Xander have a confrontation in the hospital.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
Which is a really great Xander moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Where, basically Angelus just says, like, do you really think any of you can stop me? Like, if I want to get into Buffy's room right now, do you think any of you can stop me? And Xander just looks at him and is like, you're right, I probably can't. And the guards probably can't, and everybody else here probably can't, but I'm willing to give it a fucking try. I love that moment, and we're going to get a bunch of really good Xander moments next season as well. Xander is definitely going to be given more time to shine.
Yay!
I'd hope
Instead
so.
of being the comic relief of things.
He's going to get his own episode next season,
His own episode.
where he's going to be the primary focus.
Okay.
Gasp.
And it's really, really great. And it has
Something
a
that
great...
isn't stupid like the hyenas?
No, like, it's an episode called The Zeppo, and it's really, really good, and Xander gets to be a hero in it. And it's just really good stuff.
Not just a one-time hero staking the one vampire?
No, like, he actually gets to be a hero, like a proper hero, but nobody ends up finding out about it.
Well,
Because that's Xander.
that's the best kind of hero then.
Alright, do you have any last-minute thoughts?
No, that's about it.
Alrighty, that's going to be it for this week. I'm Paul.
I'm Dave.
And I'm Justin.